Today we're gonna go ahead and do an exercise. It's the first one in chapter 2. It starts on page 5-2. Before we start that, did anyone, I know I talked to you, Mike, but did anyone else have any questions about the lab or anything you wanted to go over? No worries, as long as you get it, as long as you turn something in. Cool. All right. Well, if you have any questions about it later or whenever, just feel free to message me. All right. Anyone else got any questions? No? Okay. There was one other thing I wanted to mention too. So we're coming up to midterm time here, and I was going to give you guys the midterm this week or next week. I wanted to kind of gauge how you're all feeling about where you're at. If you want to have an extra week, I can just give you next week's assignment this week, and you'll have some extra time to feel ready for it. And I'll go over everything that's going to be on there, so you'll have, you'll be prepared. But I wanted to make sure that everybody feels like they're caught up enough to be ready for that. Next week? Okay. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do for the midterm is I'm gonna give you a couple of drawings that I want you to make. It's actually an assembly. And so you're gonna model a couple of parts and then you're gonna put them together. And then we're gonna go over all of this. So I'm gonna show you how to make an assembly. I know a couple of you have tried that, but I want to make sure that we've all gone over it as a class. So we're going to go over that, and then we're also going to go over measuring the mass of a part. So depending on the material, obviously your volume is always going to be the same, but the density changes if it's a more dense material. So there's a way that you can look at what the density or what the mass is of your part in SolidWorks. And so what you're going to do is you're going to model those parts, and then you're going to upload the part file, and you're going to enter what the mass is of each part so that I can see that, it matches what I have within, there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room, but pretty close. So, does that make sense to everyone? Everyone's quiet. Okay. Yeah. Let's go over a bunch of that stuff today, and then I'll give you this week to kind of, practice a little bit and get a feel for what we're going to be doing. We'll do some review next week, and then we'll do the midterm next week, since there's a couple of things that I know we haven't really touched on too heavily. So I want to make sure everyone feels like they're ready for it. So that sounds good to everyone? All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started on this exercise then. And after we do the exercise, I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the midterm related things, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to be on page 5-2 in the book. It's right at the beginning of chapter 5. So is anybody not ready to begin? Or okay, let's go ahead and start. So we're going to do a sketch. We're going to start in the front plane. And then we're going to start with a line. So I'll click the line. Yeah, no worries. It's page 5-2 is where it starts. It's the first exercise in chapter 5. It's a ball joint arm. Where are you? Yeah. Yeah, we did the chain link. We did not do the tangent bracket in class. Yeah. But we're gonna go straight to 5 just because there's a couple of things I want you guys to go over um before the midterm, just because there are a couple of tools that you'll need for that. So I want to make sure that we're covering that. So. Ew. Oh no. Oh shoot. Did you take the trash out already? Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer. Well, I hope it turns up for you, but. All right, so um, I'm not really sure what you're referring to, so let's draw a circle and let's dimension it and all. So, okay, so it's not doing this, is what you're saying. Do you see my screen? Hmm. Are you, is it giving you a radius though, anyway? What's the dimension it's giving you? Is it a radius or is it something else? Because if it's giving you a radius, it doesn't matter where you place it on the screen. It's still going to be the radius of the circle. If it's showing like something. Okay, that's probably happening because you've got some other point selected. So it's giving you the distance from the center of that circle to another point. So it's probably because you clicked the other point first and you didn't like get out of that. So just like hit escape or click somewhere else to let go of that other point. Does that make sense? Um, yeah, no, I mean it should be um, let's see. You should be getting I mean you should be able to put a radius on it. So, To be completely honest, I don't know what you're referring to at all. So, I mean, without seeing it, I'm not sure. Uh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, let's just get started on this. So, let's see. All right. So, they want us to actually put a line through the origin. It's going to go kind of to both sides because that origin is going to be the center point of one of our circles. So I'm going to start with a line right here. And then I'm going to do a circle. Oops, I don't want to start it there. I want to start it at the origin, and the perimeter of the circle is going to be on the end of that line. And then we're going to do another circle over here at this end. Oops. Actually, let's do a center line first. So we're going to do a center line that coincides with our first line, but it's longer. So make sure that's a center line and not an actual line. And then we're going to do a circle right here. Yeah, that first circle, the center is going to be at the origin, and then the edge of the circle is going to be at the end of your line here. And then on the second circle, the edge is going to be, the inside edge is going to be at the end of that line. And then the center is just going to be on the center line. It's not at the end of it, but it's going to be just resting on there. And then we're going to sketch this little shape up here. So we're going to start. Let's try and start it somewhere on the circle. There we go. And it's going to end on this circle. All right, I made that second segment a little too long, so let's delete that. It's going to come over and it's just going to touch the edge of the circle here. I suggest that you give that a run so you're a little more acquainted with what the scientific principle. Okay. So now we're going to start dimensioning this. So actually first off, let's make sure we're using inches. All right. Go back into our sketch. So make sure you're in inches here. And then we're going to make this circle 0.368. Okay, and then from the center, the center of the circle to this line, we're going to do 0.475. From that base line there to this line, we're going to do 0.125. And then from the origin to the edge of this circle is going to be 2.518. Oh, that was weird. Okay. So for some reason that made the circle really big. So we're just going to go like that. And then this radius is going to be 0.375. All right. And then this distance here, this is our last dimension, we're going to make this, that's degrees because that line isn't horizontal. So we're going to go ahead and actually add a relation and make this horizontal. Okay, so we're going to delete that angle. There we go. And then we're going to add a dimension here. Or yeah, it's um it's rounding up because I only have 2 decimal places showing up. So I did put in. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right. 1 second. I've got a over-defined thing going on here too. So yeah. Yeah, that's all right. I'm gonna delete this for now. And it's radius 0.368. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna do this. This is another thing you can do actually that's kind of cool. You can actually if you just put an equation in here, it'll calculate it for you. So if I put 0.368 plus 0.368, it'll just make the dimension for me. Yeah. So if you're like, okay, well the radius has to be this, I need to double it. You don't have to do the math. You can just put it in there. It'll do the math for you. So it's kind of a nifty feature. All right. So looks like my center line ends somewhere over here, but that's fine. So now we're going to start trimming stuff because obviously in the drawing that we want to use, there's a lot of stuff trimmed away from here. So we're going to trim that. Oh, yeah, okay. So when I dimensioned that, I put it to the end of the line. I wanted it to go to this center point. Or, no, I wanted it to go to here, actually. So we're going to dimension this one. Be 2.518. Okay, and then in here, these are actually little radiuses if you look close. So we're going to go ahead and do some little tangent arcs here. Can we do that? No, it's not. Yeah, no, I haven't quite fully defined it yet. Actually, let's. So this is the last dimension I need right here. It's from that top line to the bottom line there. And that's 0.275. So I'm going to add that in, and then it should be fully defined. Okay, now it's telling me it's over-defined. So again, we've got something funny going on here. Let's see, what could it be? So we want that to be 0.275. For some reason, it's not letting us do that. There we go. Okay, I had a relation there that was making this center point. For some reason, it was coincident with something else. Let's extend this out though, because we want that center point to be on this line. And I've got an extra point in there somewhere. Okay, it doesn't want to let me do that. So Alright. I'm gonna delete a few things. I'm actually not sure why it's doing this to me here, so I'm gonna try doing a couple of things. Alright, so I'm gonna try and make this point coincident with this line again. There we go. Now it's working. So now we just have to make sure that we've got all the other dimensions that we want in here. Alright, so it looks like our center line here jumped up above that bottom line. So we want those to be coincident. So we're going to go ahead and collinear is actually what it's called when it's referring to lines. Make those collinear. And then we should just be able to add a radius to this one, and that should do it. Not quite. Alright, what are we missing? Does anyone see what's missing here? Which straight line are you talking about? So we have one center line. It goes all the way down the length of the whole thing. But I think what we're actually missing is we're missing a relation from our tangent to this line here. We want those to intersect. So, and it's telling us we can't, which is funny because it looks like it can. So it looks like it should be able to intersect here. I just drag it down. So, oops. No, that's not what I wanted. add relation. Which, ooh, I got it. So, alright, so what I had to do was actually make the origin coincident with this bottom line here. And now it's fully defined. I'm not sure why it wasn't letting me do that a second ago, but I'm gonna trust it because it's doing it now. So, I think sometimes, if you have like an extra relation in there or something that kind of just got added in when you were drawing it, then it'll end up not working for you. And sometimes you don't ever really figure out exactly what it was, but you kind of have to just play around until you find the right um, combination of dimensions and relations. So I think this is what we want. So now we want to actually we're going to put radiuses on these corners. We were going to make those curved a little bit. So let's see. I'm going to sketch a fillet here. And we want its radius to be 0.05. That's what it says in there. And then all three of them are going to be the same. So you can either click the two lines you want your fillet to be on, or you can actually just click the corner and it'll show up like that. Alright, did everyone see how I did that? Okay. I'm going to take that as a yes. So, okay. Here, let's undo that and let's try again. So, I'll just go through it again. Where did my, there it is. So, let's delete arc 3. So you can click the Did you trim everything away from that it needed to be trimmed away? You don't have any lines there that I don't have? Okay. Yeah, it needs to be a closed shape with no extra stuff in order for it to work. So, um cool. All right. Anyone else having trouble or Okay, so once everybody has this sketch, um sure, no worries. Okay, so we're going to do sketch fillet and then we're going to click each corner that we want to make rounded here. So we're going to click this corner. You can also do it by clicking two lines. So if I click this line and this line, it knows that I want that corner between those two lines to be rounded. But it's usually easier to just click right on the corner. And then they'll show up like this. They're yellow. And you're going to put in, for your parameters, you're going to put in the radius, which the book says they want 0.05. So we're going to go ahead and put that in and then just hit OK. And they should show up like this. All right. So the next step, we're going to go over to the Features tab, and we're going to do Revolved Boss Base. So we haven't used this one yet. It's basically like extruding, but it just it revolves your sketch so that it's like your beginning sketch is going to be a cross section of round part. If that kind of makes sense, you'll see once um I do the revolve here. So let's see. So we're on page 5-4. You're gonna do click revolve boss / base, and it's gonna look like this. That's all you really have to do. It shows you what your parameters are here. So the axis of revolution is going to be that center line. That's why it was really important to put that center line in at the beginning, because it won't work with any other type of line. It has to be a center line that it revolves around. And then the direction is going to be blind. It's going to be 360 degrees, which means it's a full circle. And that's about it. Just click OK. And now we've got this rounded part here. Is everyone with me on that? Okay, cool. All right. Once everybody has that, actually, real quick, something I forgot to mention at the beginning of class, was that there's going to be, the internet's going to be down for a few minutes at 5 o'clock. So we're going to take a quick break then. It should only be like 15 minutes. But I just want to let you all know, I'm not going to have internet here, so I'm going to have to jump off the lecture for a little bit. It's 4 now. Let's see. Sorry, I just want to make sure I have that right. You're getting what? Okay. It might be because you have an extra line sticking out. So even if your sketch is closed, if you have a line that isn't part of that closed shape, so like, let's say I go back to my, you got what I'm saying? Okay, cool. All right, is anyone else having that problem? Everyone good? Cool. All right, so that's the first part. Before we move on to the second part, actually, I'm going to jump off for like 5 minutes here. And if you guys all want to make sure you're caught up, you can try and get ahead a little bit if you want. And I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Is that cool with everyone? Okay. Sorry, guys. And then again at 5, I'm going to have to jump off too because the internet's going to turn off. So I'll be back in just a little bit. All right.